So, we all think we know what a vacation is, right? You book a flight, you pack a bag, you go somewhere new. But what if the real meaning of a break has less to do with all that and more to do with something happening inside of us? Let's dive in and figure this out. Okay, let's start with a feeling I'm pretty sure we've all had. You know the one. You get home from a trip and you are just more tired than when you left. You saw the sights, you did all the things on the list, but you feel completely drained. It's a total paradox and it happens all the time. And here's the big secret behind why that exhaustion happens. The key to a truly restful, rejuvenating holiday isn't about finding the perfect beach or the most exciting city. It's not about the where at all. It's about the who. The most important journey is always internal. The destination is really about understanding yourself. Which brings us right to our first big idea. You've got to use self-knowledge as your compass. Seriously, before you even think about looking at a map, you gotta look in the mirror first. It really all starts with this: understanding how you recharge your personal battery. For an extrovert, that battery genuinely fills up in a bustling city festival with tons of people and energy. But for an introvert, their battery recharges in a quiet cabin in the woods. Look, neither one is better than the other, but choosing the wrong environment for your personality type is the fastest way to drain your battery, not fill it. So this means you've got to ask yourself some pretty honest questions, like, is your itinerary your own, or is it just a copy-paste of someone's perfect Instagram feed? What are you really trying to get away from? Are you escaping shadow needs, things like boredom or burnout at home? Because here's the thing, you can't outrun a problem that you pack in your own suitcase. A holiday strips away your daily routine and acts like a mirror, showing you who you really are underneath it all. And once you have that self-knowledge, it leads you to a pretty fundamental choice in how you travel. You have to figure out, are you a maximizer or are you a minimalist? So the maximizer is totally driven by FOMO, the fear of missing out. And their logic kind of makes sense, right? They think, hey, I spent all this money to get here. I have to see and do everything to make it worth it. Then you've got the minimalist. They operate on JOMO, the joy of missing out. They believe that by doing less, they actually get to experience more, leaving all this space for spontaneous, unplanned, magical moments. And listen, both approaches have their payoffs. The maximizer comes home with this awesome sense of accomplishment and a phone full of incredible, diverse memories. The minimalist, on the other hand, comes home with a calm, regulated nervous system, feeling genuinely restored and peaceful. But of course, there are risks to both. The maximizer is in danger of vacation burnout, where the trip starts to feel less like a holiday and more like a second job. And the minimalist, well, they might feel that little pang of regret when they get home and realize they totally missed a famous landmark because they were just enjoying a quiet afternoon in a park instead. So the big question is, can you get the best of both worlds? And the answer is, absolutely. It's all about finding that middle path, the hybrid strategy. A really simple way to think about this is the 60-40 rule. Just aim to have about 60% of your time planned out with your must-do activities. But, and this is key, you have to intentionally protect that other 40% for pure, unscheduled downtime, rest, and spontaneity. It's about finding that perfect balance between the must-sees and the must-rests. Okay, here are a few super practical ways to actually put this into action. You can try the one big thing rule. Just commit to only one major activity per day. Everything else is a bonus. Or zone grouping. Pick one neighborhood and just explore it deeply instead of zigzagging all over the city. A 0 day with absolutely no plans right in the middle of a long trip? It can be a total lifesaver. And my personal favorite, just double whatever travel time you think you need. It turns a stressful rush into a really pleasant stroll. All right, so now that we've got the how covered, let's go a little deeper into the why. What is the true art, the real meaning behind taking a vacation? Well, the word itself actually gives us a massive clue. Vacation comes from the Latin word vacare, which literally means to be empty or free. So a vacation isn't really an act of filling your time with new stuff. It's an act of vacating, of emptying yourself of all your usual roles, your deadlines, and your pressures. And this is the most crucial point. We've kind of been sold this idea that rest is just about recharging our batteries so we can go back and be more productive workers. But a real holiday, it completely rejects that idea. It's about creating a space where you can exist purely for your own sake, with no agenda, not for your output,
This shift changes our entire perception of time. In our daily lives, we're living in what the Greeks called chronos. That's quantitative, ticking, deadline-driven clock time. A true vacation lets us step into kairos, a qualitative sense of time, where we're focused on the present moment, on what we're feeling and sensing, on the natural, organic rhythm of the day.
But the journey isn't over when the plane lands back home. The final and maybe the most important part of the whole thing is how you bring that holiday feeling back into your everyday life.
See, the real arrival is internal. It starts with decompression. You have to consciously silence that inner manager in your brain that's already dying to check emails. Then it moves to observation. You start to notice the little things again, finding wonder in small details, not just giant monuments. And finally, integration. You make a conscious choice about which parts of that patient, curious holiday you actually want to keep around for good.
Because really, the ultimate goal isn't just about having one great trip a year. It's about achieving what you could call a permanent holiday mindset. Learning how to find those small moments of vacare, of that emptiness and freedom right in the middle of your everyday life. It all comes down to this incredible quote from the philosopher Ralph Waldo Emerson. If we don't travel with ourselves, we find that we have traveled in vain. All the miles you cover, all the sights you see, they don't mean a thing if there isn't some kind of growth happening on the inside. So I'll just leave you with this to think about. On your next trip, or maybe even just looking back on your last one, what part of that relaxed, curious, present holiday you are you going to bring back home for good?